What's up, Star Wars fans? It's your old pal X-Wing. This morning we're going to be talking about Obi Wan Kenobi and a couple different cameos that we could expect to see from this show. Kenobi is a show that has been weighing heavily on everybody's mind. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's streaming about it, trying to figure out exactly how to feel about this show. There's a lot of different things to focus on. We've got some new characters. We've got some old characters. We've had some costume design issues that have come up with some folks, and maybe some possible story leaks that people aren't enjoying as well. I'd like to focus on today thinking about some other people that might be showing up. Obviously, Ewan and Hayden are going to be the big bad and the big good in the show. I'm very excited to see those guys, but there might be some other legacy type characters that we could see in the show. So as I was having my coffee this morning, kind of perusing the internet, I came across an article from The Direct talking about 7 possible characters we could see in the Obi-Wan show, starting with number 1, R2-D2. Now, I know a lot of people think it might not make sense for him to show up, but it has been leaked that the Organa family is probably going to be a large part of the show. So having said that, I don't see any reason why 3PO or R2-D2 couldn't be in the show prominently. Personally, I'm extremely excited to see Alderaan. I want to see Bail Organa back, and then I'm going to be very interested to see what a young Leia looks like. So in the realm of possibilities of cameos that could go down, I think R2 is high on that list. Now, next up is our boy Boba Fett. Coming off the heels of what some might call a divisive and yet successful Disney Plus show, The Book of Boba Fett, this character was around in this time period, off having adventures on his own. Do I think he could show up? Not really. Honestly, it's entirely possible. We've seen from the trailer that 4-LOM was romping around trying to get Kenobi, so it's possible that there is a kind of War of the Bounty Hunters-esque style Kenobi hunt going on from all of the bounty hunters that we saw in Empire Strikes Back. I just don't think that they would have put the time in to really develop that character enough for it to be a large portion of the show. So is it possible? Yeah, but I don't think that they're going to spring to put Boba in it. It would be very interesting if they did. Now, next up on the list is one of my favorites and one that I think is extremely plausible. Palpatine. I would absolutely love to see Ian back on screen reprising his role as the Emperor, especially with Hayden coming back to play Darth Vader. I think it just makes sense for them to do that. Now, I know probably most of the interactions we're going to get are going to be Vader and the Inquisitors, but to me, it's a big loss if they don't have him go back to a meditation chamber and at least talk to the Emperor in a hologram, something like that. For me, this is a high realm of possibility. Give me that. Give it. Next up on the list, we have something that I know a lot of people want to see. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would absolutely love it if it did. Cal Kestis. Now, everybody's favorite character from Jedi Fallen Order, one of our favorite Order 66 survivors, Cal Kestis is a perfect fit for this show. The timeline matches. This is just after Jedi Fallen Order occurs, and so I think there are some awesome ties that could come into the Fortress Inquisitorius. I could just see 2 stormtroopers trying to get to an office, and they have to go around because there's still a collapsed and flooded tunnel from when Cal got into the Fortress Inquisitorius and was messing with Vader and all that good stuff. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already. Apologies. But I just think this is something that could work so perfectly, and if there's just even a small side story that kind of tells us what Cal has been doing since the end of it. There are some problems, I think, possibly with it conflicting with the release of Jedi Survivor, but for all we know, that could be a completely different story, not involving Cal. I hope it's not, but you never know. In the realm of possibility, I give this a 50-50 shot. It could happen. It could happen, but I'm not holding my breath for it. Next up on the list is everybody's favorite Wookiee, Chewie. Now, in the realm of possibility for this going down for Obi-Wan, I put that at a very, 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 very low number, maybe like 5%. I just don't think it's going to happen. Everybody was calling for Chewie in the Book of Boba Fett, and we were going to see Han and all these different things. I just don't think it's somebody that they're going to put in the show. Why? That doesn't really make sense. A lot of folks might say, oh, well, it does make sense. He was on the run from the Empire, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like when we get into New Hope and we see Chewie and Han together, it's definitely the first time they've met. It doesn't seem like they know each other at all. I feel like if they had met or bonded or done anything, there might have been a little bit of a different interaction between Obi Wan and Chewbacca in A New Hope. I'm gonna give this one a thumbs down. Look, it could happen. It's Disney. You never know what they're going to do, but I just don't think it's going to be a thing. Another possible cameo, and this is something I'm really hoping for. Padme Amidala. Oh man, the emotional weight that they could put into a cameo by Padme. Now, whether it's just in name, which I know is going to happen. I know somebody's going to say Padme to Vader, and it's going to set him off in an absolute fit of rage. If they don't, that's a big miss. There could be a flashback with Vader thinking about his marriage with Padme, really digging into some of the more emotional stuff for Vader. I'm 100% okay with that. He can't be a crybaby, but you got to remember, Vader was constantly fighting Anakin Skywalker. It was a battle for who was going to win the soul of this Jedi Sith. I just think there's so much they could do with that, and like I said, it doesn't have to be a flashback. It could just be mentioned in name. It could be anything relating to Padme, using that as kind of a sore spot for Vader. 100% win. Totally think it's going to happen. Put it in the show. Now, last on the list is something that I think is kind of interesting because it's pretty much been confirmed, but we don't really know exactly how it's going to happen yet. Quigon Jin. Quigon Jin is absolutely my favorite Jedi that's ever existed in the Star Wars universe. I'm still pretty upset that he just dies so quickly in the first movie of the prequels, but this is something that you have to deal with. He has come back, obviously, in the Clone Wars. We got to see him in the Mortis arc, which was really cool. And now, apparently, we're going to be getting him back in Obi Wan Kenobi. Now, there has been some debate and some argument about continuity, that he actually never really showed up in Force Ghost form. He could only do it on Mortis because of the nature of Mortis. But it has been speculated and talked about that we will get an actual Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn in the cave talking to Obi Wan Kenobi. Now, a lot of people might be upset about that. That's not something that's going to ruin the show for me. I would love to see Qui-Gon Jinn back. So give me that 100%. Let's go. It's happening. But what are you guys thinking? Is there some kind of crazy cameo that I'm not thinking of that we could see in this show? Some character that, you know, obscure, but as soon as you see him, it totally makes sense for the story. A lot of people have said Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan, that could be a thing. I feel like they already had their kind of weird cameo in Rogue One, but you never know. They could come back. It makes sense for Kenobi. So let me know in the comments below if there's somebody that you think is going to show up that I haven't listed off here. And boy, what do we have? 2 weeks left. We're going to find out. Everybody have a good day. I will see you on the next one. May the Force be with you always.